North Sentinel Island. Hidden deep in the Bay of Bengal is North Sentinel Island, one of the few truly forbidden places on Earth. Officially part of India's Andaman Islands, this tiny patch of land is almost completely untouched by the modern world. Its isolation is due not to distance, but to the Sentinelese people, an indigenous people who have resisted contact with the outside world for thousands of years. Attempts to reach the island have been met with arrows and spears, and for decades fishermen and explorers who strayed too close have been killed. The Indian government has declared the island a restricted area in order to protect the tribe's way of life and potential outsiders from harm, as the Sentinelese have no immunity to modern diseases. Little is known about their language, culture, or population, although it is believed that only a few hundred people live there. In a world where technology connects nearly everyone, North Sentinel remains an untouchable mystery, an echo of a past long forgotten by humanity, and a reminder that not every place is worth exploring. Socotra Island. Off the coast of Yemen, in the Arabian Sea, lies the island of Socotra, a place so strange and unusual that it is often referred to as Alien Island. Isolated from the mainland for millions of years, Socotra has evolved into a biological treasure trove, unlike any other on Earth. More than a third of the island's flora exists nowhere else, including the iconic dragon's blood tree, whose umbrella-shaped foliage and crimson sap were once prized as medicine and dye. The island's isolation has preserved this strange ecosystem, but it has also made access extremely difficult. Political instability in Yemen adds to its mystery, keeping most visitors away. For those who have visited, Socotra feels more like a lost planet than Earth, with surreal landscapes of limestone caves, towering sand dunes, and rocky outcrops that seem carved from another world. Scientists call it the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. But unlike the Galapagos, Socotra remains less explored, a reminder that even in the 21st century, there are still corners of the world that defy understanding. Easter Island. Nestled in the vast expanse of the South Pacific, more than 2,000 miles from the nearest continent, Easter Island is one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. Despite its remote location, the island is world famous for its enigmatic Moai statues, giant stone statues carved by the Rapa Nui people centuries ago. Standing silently with solemn faces, the statues are not only works of art, but also symbols of the dedication, struggle, and ingenuity of an ancient culture. But the island's history has a dark side. Scholars believe that overpopulation, deforestation, and conflict have pushed this once thriving society to the brink of collapse, leaving behind a cautionary tale about human ambition and the limits of the environment. Today, fewer than 8,000 people live on Rapa Nui, continuing the traditions of their ancestors while welcoming the few visitors who make the long journey. Getting to the island is no easy task. Most visitors must fly thousands of miles from Chile across vast oceans. Standing among the Moai statues is to enter a haunting reminder of resilience, mystery, and the delicate balance between people and the land they call home. Nahanni National Park. Deep in Canada's remote Northwest Territories lies Nahanni National Park, a wilderness so vast and untamed that it is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. There are no roads to reach it, and only seaplanes or helicopters cross hundreds of miles of rugged terrain. Deep in the heart of the park lies Virginia Falls, twice the height of Niagara Falls, which roars down with a force that overwhelms anyone who dares to approach. But Nahanni is not just a place of beauty, it also has a dark past. In the early 20th century, gold prospectors lured by dreams of gold mysteriously disappeared in its valley. Some were later found headless, their gruesome fates earning it the eerie nickname Valley of the Headless Men. Yet for the indigenous Dean people, the land has always been sacred, a place where spirits dwell and stories live on. Today, Nahanni remains one of the world's most isolated national parks, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that combines majestic natural wonder with a troubled history, It is a land where nature reigns supreme and where mystery lurks in every whisper of the wind. Surtsey Island, off the southern coast of Iceland, in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, an island rose unexpectedly from the sea in 1963. Born of fire and ash, Surtsey was created by a volcanic eruption that lasted nearly 4 years, reshaping the ocean floor and creating new land. Scientists immediately recognized the extraordinary opportunity. Here was a world untouched by human hands, a blank canvas where life could be observed from the first moment. To preserve its pristine state, the island was declared a protected nature reserve, off limits to the public. Only a handful of researchers were allowed ashore, and even they had to undergo rigorous testing to ensure that no foreign seeds or organisms would contaminate the environment. On one occasion, a tomato plant sprouted from human waste, and it was quickly destroyed to preserve the island's pristine state. Over the decades, Surtsey has become a living laboratory, with mosses, lichens, birds, and marine life slowly colonizing the bare volcanic rock. For humanity, Surtsey is not only a scientific wonder, but also a rare reminder of the raw creative power of the planet and the delicate balance between life and isolation. Medog, nestled deep in the mighty Himalayas, Medog has long been considered the last county in China without roads, a place so isolated that it was virtually cut off from the modern world until 2013. For centuries, the only access was through narrow trails carved into the mountainside, winding through dense forests, landslides, and raging rivers. Even today, the roads are often blocked by storms and avalanches, leaving Medog isolated once again. Its remoteness has preserved not only a fragile ecosystem, home to more than 3,000 species of plants and dozens of rare animals, but also a culture steeped in faith and tradition. In Tibetan Buddhism, Medog is revered as a Bayul, a hidden holy place that provides refuge for believers in times of turmoil. For its few thousand residents, many of them descendants of Bhutanese immigrants, life follows a rhythm shaped less by technology than by a spiritual devotion to the land itself. To outsiders, Medog feels like a step back in time, a sacred valley where the world's deepest gorge carves its path, and where isolation protects both nature and faith. Pitcairn Island, far out in the South Pacific, stretching hundreds of miles across vast ocean, lie the Pitcairn Islands. Of the 4 islands, only Pitcairn is inhabited, and even then, only tentatively. As of 2023, the island's population is just 35, making it one of the most sparsely populated places on Earth. Reaching Pitcairn is a challenge few dare attempt. There is no airport, no deep water port, and the steep, rocky coastline allows access only at one point, Bounty Bay. Supply ships must anchor offshore, with longboats ferrying people and supplies through the rough waters. Only one ship, the MV Silver Supporter, departs once a week from French Polynesia, taking more than 30 hours to reach the island. For the descendants of the HMS Bounty mutineers who settled here in 1790, isolation is not just history, but daily life. Emergencies highlight the risks. Medical evacuations can take days at sea before modern medical care is reached. Pitcairn's remoteness preserves its wild beauty and tight-knit community, but also makes survival a constant test of resilience. It is both a living relic of maritime history and one of the most inaccessible outposts of human existence. Tristan da Cunha, in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, lies Tristan da Cunha, the most remote inhabited island on Earth. The nearest landfall is South Africa, more than 1,400 miles away, and South America lies more than 2,000 miles in the opposite direction. With no airport and no regular flights, the only connection to the outside world is by sea. Only a handful of ships make the journey each year, often taking nearly a week to reach the island from Cape Town. Their journey is subject to storms and rough seas that can delay docking for days. Even then, there is no deep water port, and docking is entirely dependent on the weather and the strength of the waves. The island settlement, poetically named Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, is home to fewer than 250 residents, most of whom come from a small group of families. Life here is communal, with land owned collectively and off-site property sales prohibited. There is no mobile phone service, limited internet access, and only a few supply shipments a year. Isolated but resilient, Tristan da Cunha is a testament to human endurance, a community thriving on the edge of the world. Oymyakon. Deep in Siberia's Sakha Republic lies Oymyakon, often called the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Nestled in a valley surrounded by mountains that trap the icy air, the place has endured winter temperatures as low as negative 89.9 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than the surface of Mars. The village has only a few hours of daylight in the middle of winter, and the cold is so severe that car engines must run all day to avoid freezing. Once a stopover for reindeer herders, Oymyakon thrived during the Soviet era, but today has fewer than 900 residents. Travel is treacherous, with the notoriously narrow Road of Bones highway, built by Gulag prisoners, serving as the main connection to the outside world. Flights are rare, and medical assistance often takes days. Despite these harsh conditions, life goes on. Children still attend school even in minus 50 degrees. Fahrenheit weather, livestock are kept in heated barns, and traditions rooted in survival persist. Oymyakon is a testament to human endurance, where endurance is not measured by wealth or technology, but by the ability to face the harsh, brutal forces of winter every day.